Hey, what's going on, everybody? Another episode of HBCU Game Day. I'm Tolly Carr, Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. You know, it's January, right? And we're fully into basketball season, but it's still that time of the year where you're just starting to pay attention and it feels like the season just started, and it also feels like the tournament is right around the corner. Well, such is life. Hey guys, as promised, our Brick by Brick series returns this week, and Hoops Mode is fully loaded. Johnson C. Smith University and the Lady Golden Bulls are ready to take us on an emotional journey from January all the way to the CIAA tournament. Let's turn over the sticks now to our Brick by Brick producer, Wally Pitt.
When it comes to women's college hoop, it's few leagues tougher than the CIAA.
Ain't nothing okay until we win. I don't want to hear that no more.
And for the ladies of Johnson C. Smith University in Charlotte, North Carolina, head coach Monterica Warren and the Golden Bulls came into 2025 as the unbothered underdogs, with a team of 9 players and 2 coaches who were not just hoping to compete, but were expecting to be able to beat the best in the CI. As they faced down 2 championship caliber programs the week before the holiday break. And when you know you're coming into a set of crucial games with the odds already stacked against you, the energy and attention to detail in practice can tell you everything you need to know about your team.
Going into the Christmas break, that's all I want. I just want 2 wins. 2 wins, we gotta get back to 500. Gotta get back to 500. 2 games that we definitely can win. We just gotta get ourselves back into our groove. I think y'all been playing some really good basketball as a team. We gotta keep building days. Keep stacking days like that. You called it down while you were getting it. You can't call it down while you're getting it. You gotta call it when you're there. So now, when she sniffed her body, she got the help she needs, all right? Here we go. One more time. One more time. Let's go. Nay, T, Riley, Cam, Star, Reed. I'm not looking at it. Alright? I want her to kick it out to this post player. I can recover to that. And if I can't, guess who has my help here? Guess what? She's not shooting 3. We're worried about the mid-range. So if she's right here, I definitely can recover from that. Alright? So boom, on the kick, I'm moving on the fighter pass here. I'm getting back out. Boom. Now I'm here. The test is going. Alright? We'll live with that. We don't want to live with 0. Then okay, right? Okay? Ready? Stay here with her. I can't let her get comfortable. You get here. We have to be better. We have to execute in practice, y'all. Because that's what's killing us in the games. It's not the offensive stuff. We're not stopping people. Really big day tomorrow. We got an early game. We'll do 8 a.m. pregame meal downstairs in the smart classroom with your food. All right? Come in locked in, y'all. We at home, gotta protect home. Cliche?
Then you just have to come in and be locked in. It takes us a quarter and a half to get warmed up. You should be warmed up in the warm-up. So come in tomorrow, ready to win, ready to do your assignment, whatever that is. It might not be scoring all the points. It might not be anything offensively. It might be come in and stop the best player. And if that's your job, then do your job at a high level. If it's your job to cheer on your teammates, then do that at a high level. so that when your time comes, you haven't been moping, and now you have to try to clock back in. Stay locked in when you get there.
All right, ladies, let's go. Hey, get some rest tonight. Eat something good. Coach Tay's gonna get pasta for y'all. Make sure y'all get some sleep tonight. Drink you a lot of water. All right, family on 3. 1, 2, 3, family.
And the Golden Bulls looked to keep that same energy during pregame as they got ready for a tough early season CIAA matchup.
Defensively, half court, man-to-man, lock it up. Team defense. We're trapping everywhere. Once the ball gets crossed half court, we still trap it. We're trying to get those turnovers. We're trying to get those steals. We're trying to get buckets in transition, all right? Turn up the intensity. We have to start learning how to be great at being us. Not every game we're switching it up for scout, personnel, all this different stuff. We have to remain constant. We have to be our own style. Every day we come and play somebody different, nothing about us should change. Whatever they're running, that's fine. But how we play as a team and how we show up as a team should never waver, ever.
You already won the game. You already won the game. Now put the work in. Here you go. Family on 3. 1, 2, 3.
And JCSU came out swinging, going up by as much as 6 early in the first quarter. Belinda spins the block. They cut the JCSU lead down to 1 with a buzzer-beating bucket to end the first quarter. And it was back and forth during the second, with both teams battling to a 30-26 Lincoln lead over Smith going into the half.
That's it. They getting these N1s off these ticky tack. We got them and swiping down last.
Oh yeah, that's my fault too.
No, it ain't just you. I ain't gonna lie, yeah. We play. I'm not gonna lie. We playing really good, but like we can't get stagnant.
I can put that on the board. It's very true. Too many threes, middle's open, playing behind D, pick up intensity, next play mentality. I 100% agree. Who wrote that?
We all did.
Yeah. So y'all got the answers, so there's no need to panic. All of it is in your control. Is it or is it not?
Yes.
In your control. Yeah, they bench off the chain, but where's our bench? Where's our bench?
In their feelings.
Where's our bench? Because it shows. When you got another team that's cheering, loud, engaged, locked in, it shows. Y'all gotta wake up. Y'all have to wake up.
Yes, ma'am. I'm fully awake and ready to see the second half. I hope you are, but first, we have to take a break. More action with Johnson C. Smith and Lincoln of PA. Brick by brick, JCSU women's basketball. It's on the way. Part 2 when we return right here on HBCU Game Day. Okay, we're back. Tali Carr in Atlanta, HBCU Game Day, and hey, it's time to get back on the hardwood with the second half of Johnson C. Smith and Lincoln of PA as Brick by Brick continues.
Y'all have to wake up. And I don't know what it's gonna take or where it's gonna start. If it's gonna start on the defensive end, but that's your best bet. You can't control misses or makes, but you can control your energy on the bench and on the floor. Playing defense, boxing out, knowing personnel. It's stuff like that that make a difference. Like, I don't even understand what we're mad about. There's a whole half of basketball still left. Here we go. Hey, this is gonna be a team win. They want it just as bad as y'all do.
We done by 4.
But we want it more, and you gotta show that. Punch first when you get out here on the half. Here we go. Punch first on 3. 1, 2, 3. Punch first.
But coming into the second half, it was the Golden Bulls taking the blows, as JCSU went down by as many as 18 in the third quarter. But JCSU continues to scrap and chops that lead down to 7 by the start of the fourth quarter.
Right back, we reset it down to protect it. Swing the name, set it down. Everybody got it. If Nella's no really get it, dive, she helps Cam shoot in the corner. Where you going?
But the Golden Bulls made a few too many mistakes down the stretch and let Lincoln double batter Charlotte with the 57-47 win. And while losing is never easy, it's always tougher when you know your squad didn't play its best. And it was time for a grown woman conversation in the JCSU postgame locker room.
Ain't nothing okay until we win. I don't want to hear that no more. I don't know how many times we got to tell y'all it's going to take every single last person in this room. It is only 9 of y'all. It is only 2 of us. We already the underdogs. We already at a disadvantage. All y'all need to do is come in, practice, go hard, execute, be quiet, listen to us. That's it. Never once did I ever tell y'all I had a superstar on this team. Not once did I ever say that. There is no superstar on this team. Ain't none of y'all no superstar, bro. The team as a whole is a superstar. That is my way of giving you all the benefit of the doubt to show up in any capacity you choose. But the only things that are non-negotiables is being a good teammate, bringing positive energy, defending, boxing out, getting back in transition. Those non-negotiables are the only expectations I have for y'all. Big one on Thursday. Big one on Thursday. And I think we match up very well with this team. They've been playing very good. But what team's gonna show up is the question. What team's gonna show up on Thursday? Everybody bring it in. It's a lot said today, but guess what? Next play, next game, move on. Walking across to the CIAA conference tournament, I'm not going in that loser. And that's that.
Wow, that is some real talk coming from the locker room. Hey, a big win for Lincoln on the road. Tough home loss for Johnson C. Smith. We'll have more with the ladies next week. Exclusive inside access to Johnson C. Smith and the women's basketball program. It's all on the winter edition of Brick by Brick right here on HBCU Game Day. All right, let's talk a little men's hoops now. One of the teams with his eyes on a championship is Norfolk State University. Let me tell you, their women are good, their men are good. They got it going on right now. Michael Vick, Norfolk State is the place to be, right? All right, 8 teams compete in the MEAC, and currently Norfolk State, the only team on the men's side with a winning record. One of those wins came on the road recently against Delaware State.
Welcome to the thrilling recap of the MEAC Showdown at Memorial Hall, where Norfolk State clashed with Delaware State in front of a packed house of 1,000 fans. Buckle up, because this was a game of grit, runs, and standout performances. Norfolk State came out swinging, lighting up the scoreboard in the first half with a sizzling 53% shooting from the field. Jalen Myers was a beast, dropping 20 points and snagging 9 rebounds. His paint presence and clutch plays set the tone early. Since Sarah McMahon came off the bench firing, adding 15 points, including a couple of dagger three-pointers. But Delaware State wasn't going down without a fight. Robert Smith's sharpshooting, including a perfect 9 for 9 from the free throw line, kept the Hornets within striking distance. Smith poured in 20 points, while Munir Newton battled inside, contributing 14 points and grabbing 8 boards. Despite a strong second half rally by Delaware State, Norfolk State's defense turned up the heat, forcing 18 turnovers and converting them into 22 points. Add in their bench production, a whopping 33 points, and it was clear the Spartans weren't going to let this one slip away. In the end, Norfolk State emerged victorious 73-64, improving to 2-0 in conference play, while Delaware State dropped to 0-2. The Spartans' fast break dominance and points in the paint sealed the deal in this exciting matchup.
All right, more to come from Norfolk State in the weeks to come. Both the men and the women currently sitting in first place, respectively, in the MEAC. All right, time for another break. When we come back, we'll catch up with DeSean Jackson, the head football coach at Delaware State University. He had his press conference last week. We'll hear from him, and we'll talk about what he had to say when we return right here on HBCU Game Day. All right, welcome back, everybody. Time to talk a little football here. HBCU Game Day, Tolly Carr in Atlanta. And, you know, usually it's the SWAC stealing the headlines when it comes to coaching hires and fires. But this year, the MEAC has that title. Michael Vick touching down at Norfolk State, and now DeSean Jackson at Delaware State. D-Jax had his presser last week, and he broke down the story on how he ended up with the job at Delaware State.
And I'm gonna take y'all back to like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was sitting at home. We just finished our my first year, Coach Clark's 25th year of coaching, and we took an organization at Woodrow Wilson over 100 years. No black coach ever has taken a team all the way to the state championship. Yeah. We lost by 1 point, but we made it, and we did some incredible things there. So I was sitting around after the season, and I got a call. And it was crazy because it was a back-to-back. It was 2 calls. And I said, the first time, somebody called me and said, would you be interested in coaching college football? I'm like, college football? I'm like, hold on, I just finished my first year coaching high school football. I'm enjoying this high school level right now. And y'all moving too fast. So I'm like, slow down. Less than an hour, Coach Travis Clark, who was a brother and mentor and a good friend of mine, calls me and says, hey, D, what you think about coaching college football? I'm like, what's going on now? He's like, man, you really want to do this coaching thing? I said, yeah. He said, man, if you really want to do this, you can't pass this up. I said, ain't you in class? Don't you teach? He said, this dude is a full-time teacher at school. I said, man, call me back when you get out of school and we'll talk about it. I hung up that phone, and when I tell you God is real, we talked a few hours later, and I said, Coach Clark, pack your bag. I get this job, I'm bringing you with me. So I'm telling y'all this right now. The passion be coming. We had that meeting yesterday. What we bringing, what we gonna steal y'all, it's greatness, hard work. We ain't accepting nothing else, and it's not rebuilding. We not rebuilding, we don't got time to play. We don't got time to waste. We doing it right now. We're doing it right now. So with that being said, I'm fired up, I'm ready to go. I'm really ready to get on the field right now. Y'all lucky we got all these NCAA rules. I'm ready to go to work. I'm gonna pass this off to Dr. Allen, man. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, man. Dover, we here. Warrior Nation, let's go.
All right, so let's talk about it. Let's bring in Stephen J. Gaither of HBCU Game Day. Stephen, we've heard this story before. It sounds very similar to Tennessee State, where Eddie George was just kind of living his life, and Tennessee State wanted him as their head coach. He was a little reluctant at first. Took the job, and after a couple of seasons, we can say that that's worked out pretty good. Coach of the year in the OVC, they won this year. So that is success. Winning is success, right? What do you think about this new pattern of HBCUs, some of them, not all obviously, really zeroing in on a big name candidate without a lot of coaching experience?
Yeah, Tally, it definitely, there are definitely some parallels between Eddie George and DeSean Jackson. Again, Eddie George, a couple years ago, he said, hey, unlike Deion Sanders, he wasn't even thinking about coaching, and Tennessee State approached him, and, it took a little while, but we see the success he's had there. Also, reminded me too, as we sit and talk, I was at the press conference over with Michael Vick a couple weeks ago, and it's a similar situation with him. He said he had thought for him, he had thought about it, but he didn't know if it was the timing was right. And DeSean Jackson, the same situation, right? I mean, again, he was literally playing in the NFL in 2022. So, he's, the youngest of all these guys. And, he just started coaching at the high school level, and he figured he'd get his feet wet and maybe one day this would happen. But as you said, he kept getting, they were persistent about getting him. The same situation for Michael Vick over there in Norfolk, where, he's doing his thing over at Fox Sports. And, Norfolk State uses all their resources to get him. So, these guys are definitely being singled out by these HBCU programs now and identified as we look at kind of Deion Sanders as the blueprint, honestly. Both Delaware, Michael Vick's contract number just came out today. And, the pay jump from Dawson Odoms to Michael Vick was pretty sizable. And you're probably going to see the same thing with DeSean Jackson and Delaware State. And interestingly enough, those two programs were the lowest, had the lowest coaching salaries in the MEAC previously, and then they got rid of their coaches, and now they're going to be at the top. So that just kind of lets you know the value that these programs are seeing in these guys.
So, Steve, do you think Delaware State and Norfolk State both were in a boat where it was go big or go home? Like they needed to get back in the conversation in the MEAC, which doesn't have a lot of room. Like if you're not good in the MEAC, it's obvious because there's nowhere to hide in the MEAC.
Right. Yeah, no, I definitely think so. I mean, again, you look at both of these programs, both of them only won championship in this century. And for Norfolk State, theirs even got vacated. So, both football programs have been around for a while. They've done it the established way. They've hired coaches who have experience. Norfolk State hired Latrell Scott, who was the head coach of Virginia State, and then, won the CIAA. Never was able to translate in the MEAC. And then they went and hired Dawson Odoms, who was the head coach at Southern when they won the SWAC and never got past third place in the MEAC. So they've done that. You look at Delaware State, even with Lee Hull, he's a guy who won the MEAC back in 2014. Now, a lot of guys can say they won the MEAC in 2014, but he got the championship and they got the FCS bid. So, both these, they didn't have novices as coaches, but you look at they're not at the level of North Carolina Central or South Carolina State or Howard. These programs that are, they don't have the greatest resources, and it seems like, they're cashing in all their chips on bringing in these guys who have these high profile names. And, maybe in the hopes that, if they spend a little bit more on that end, maybe it will circumvent some of the things that they don't have in their program or the money that they haven't traditionally spent. So it's going to be interesting when this season kicks off.
DeSean Jackson made the rounds. He was on the Breakfast Club. He talked about his relationship with Kevin Hart and how Kevin Hart jokingly, but, somewhat serious at the same time said, hey, what do I have to do to get my name on the building? Like, how can I help? How can I donate? DeSean Jackson obviously knows football. No one's going to question that. But that added layer of his Rolodex, his connections, his closeness to money, which maybe not every single coach, has that. Do you think that's enough to make a difference at Delaware State, which is not traditionally known as a football powerhouse?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because, again, Delaware State is not a place, like you said, that's had a lot of football success. But, again, that's the thing that you get when you hire DeSean Jackson, and we'll probably see with Michael Vick as well, just the exposure that they've gotten with the NFL network. Dawson Odoms wasn't going to be on Fox NFL Kickoff. Lee Hull wasn't going to be on the Breakfast Club. And so, these athletes with their names and ties definitely seem to have people interested. We saw with Jackson State and Deion Sanders how, he had, celebrities pulling up to the games, and it was an attraction. It was a big thing. So, hopefully for Norfolk State and Delaware State, they'll be able to capitalize off this. Obviously, you love to see that come in the form of wins on the field, and ultimately that's what coaches are measured by. But also the wins that are off the field, those can't be discounted either. When was the last time anybody mentioned Kevin Hart and Delaware State in the same sentence? He was on the Breakfast Club previously, and he basically, got into his comedic bag, and he was like, Delaware State isn't even a HBCU. They just got a lot of us around there. So it's definitely, they're changing the conversation. They're having the conversation, and I think that's important. And, everybody's a winner until we get onto the field in August and September, and those losses start to come.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. And we say that every week, but that's all we can say because it's a lot of talk. It's a lot of talk. They will play football this fall. Stephen J. Gaither with HBCU Game Day. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and spending a little time. And thank you guys as well. That's going to do it for this week. For Steve, I'm Tolly in Atlanta. We'll see you next weekend right here on HBCU Game Day.